We are paid, that's all. We are God.
Hey guys! Here is part 5 of What If Naruto was the reincarnation of Link, hero of Twilight. Centuries ago, Link saved the world from Ganondorf. But now, Link's reincarnation will do the same task. Watch as he now struggles to become a hero guided by the Triforce. And of course, he has Midna by his side to help him. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and check the author in the description. Let's start. Chapter 18. So, how do you like my new look? Kin questions Naruto. It was a boring Sunday afternoon, and since practically everyone was busy, it was just the two of them. Kin had enough money to get some new threads to wear. Taking a page from the West, she wanted to dress in a style all her own. Needless to say, Naruto was floored, and so were several other guys in the shop who were taking peeks, despite the few who had girlfriends. Kin's long hair was cut down to a shorter length, but she left a good enough length to restyle it into a high ponytail, with some locks of hair clashing in fangs along her sides. It somewhat reminded the boy of Enko's hair. She wore a lavender scarf around her neck, which the color had a grayish tint in the color. The scarf's length reached to her lower back. She wore a fishnet tank that hugged her upper chest. Let's just say the sleeves are non-existent. To cover her modesty, she had a blue-gray full strip of silk wrapped around her upper torso, but leaving a bit of cleavage exposed. From down to her hip line, was all flawless skin. Around the waist were her shinobi belt and her new blue-gray pants which had oval-shaped cuts in the sides exposing her hips to the world, and a bit of that string that belonged to the thong she had been wearing. In fact, the utility belt, which now sports the headband that shows the leaf symbol, is the only thing that kept the otherwise questionable pants from falling. From the biceps down to the wrists is fishnet stocking that ended into fingerless bracers, with dark silver armored gauntlets, slim modeled, protecting her forearms and the backs of the hand. Strapped to her back was the new dagger sword she purchased, and on her right hip was her chain whip. She still wore the same ninja sandals, but now they offered more comfort and protection. Naruto's response was to walk up to her and kiss her. She actually purred in content. However, the kiss was short-lived, as Naruto smirked. "You'll grab many a male eye, including mine." "Yeah, well. I'm all yours, Naruto-kun." She giggled seeing a bit of blood trickle down his nose. A few other guys who've been eavesdropping gained larger nosebleeds, some passed out with pleasurable/perverted expressions. "Can we get going?" "Yup, as soon as I make these purchases, we'll go." And after she had paid for them, she returned to the dressing room, just to wear them again, before leaving Naruto to carry her bags. Kin ignored some of the looks she got from some guys her age, and older, more so the perverted older men, while Naruto followed after Kin, his glare intimidating to a few pervs in the crowds they pushed through. Upon arriving at the apartment, Naruto headed to Kin's bedroom to leave her bags, until he heard the door behind him close shut, and lock. Turning around, Kin strolled up to him, and pushed him onto the bed. Naruto smiled a bit before reaching up to claim her lips. Naturally, she kissed back. "Even if you seem to have other girls around, Naruto-kun. I love you." Naruto smiled warmly. Naruto had just refilled his supply at Tenku's shop the next day, and also bought 10 explosive tags. He grabbed his pack containing his ninoms, and sold the old pack to Tenku for only 30 ryo. He filled the new double pack with them on the side, and the other side had his storage of explosive tags. The door opened, and in came Ten. "Hey, Naruto-kun. Just the guy I was looking for." "Hey, Ten-chan, you need something from me?" She smiled rather sweetly, and grabbed him by the arm. "Yeah, let's go have lunch together, HM. He blinked, before he was dragged out of the shop, his supplies left behind. Tenku just chuckled, and put the stuff under the register for safekeeping, and returned to his work in the back shop. Naruto followed Ten, who wanted to go to lunch with someone. Her teammates were busy, so he was chosen, in a way. Of course, Naruto said nothing when she kept herself anchored to his right arm. "Hey, Ten, after lunch, let's see if anyone would like to head to the lake." "The lake? Yeah, there's this girl who lives and runs a fishing shack. I met her through her brother. Remember the Valhalla mission? Tenten nodded, having been told by Hinata what had happened. She and the others girls had been worried when Kakashi, Kurenai, and the others returned without Naruto, Hinata, and Midna. Naruto remembered when Tenten had beaten him for making her so worried, before claiming his lips in front of the other girls, and by proxy their other teammates. Her name is Hina. She has one brother, Kikoru, who sold me the lantern I still keep sealed. Then, she has another sister, an older sister. Her name is Liz. She works a small shop at the border of river country. Oh, you mean that one area where the only way to get into river country was by boat? Yup, and from time to time she also does canoe rentals for more peaceful trips up or down the river. Hina told me about her two siblings on that day I visited her to deliver Kikoru's letter. She gave him a quick kiss on the lips. Tell me. Flashback, 1 week. The lake was located a half-mile from Konohagakure. It was large, and there were a few mangroves on some small islands out in the lake. If seen from a bird's view, the lake shape would resemble something like some sort of fang or dull claw, South America's shape on the atlas map. The west was blanketed by the trees, which proved it was near a ninja village. On the other side, east, were fields of grass and wild flowers. Near the southern beach was a wooden dock, next to a large willow tree. To the north was some small mountainous land. Near the dock was an average-built house, where Naruto, following a short trail, stopped near the tree. This is an impressive lake, Kakashi said. Naruto hops off Epona, and helps Hinata down. Ah, yes, such a youthful relaxing lake to see, said Guy with his ever-cheerful smile. Naruto walked up to the two-story house, and up to the front door. The sign was still flipped to open, so they gently allowed themselves inside. The first floor was designed much like a shop would be, but it was designed for items associated with fishing, boating, and even swimming, the usual outdoor stuff. There was a large fish tank that was created to resemble a beautiful coral floor of an ocean, and there were various different types of fish swimming in the water. In fact, there were two of these tanks, one labeled for freshwater fish, and the other for saltwater fish. And coming down the stairs from behind the big enough counter was a young girl. She appeared to be only 16 years old. She had short blonde hair, and wore a beige fishing hat. She wore a red and black plaid button-up shirt, and a pair of brown cargo pants. For footwear were just comfortable sandals. Oh, hello. Sorry, but I was just about to close up. Oh, no worries. My name's Naruto. This is Hinata. He squeezed the girl who he held his arms around, and she smiled. Hello, I'm Hina. I own this business. It's a good business. People from around Hai no Kuni come here for swimming, boating, or even fishing. So you're Hina, right? I got a letter from your brother, Kikoru. Wait, you know my brother? She questioned, opening the counter door and stepping out from behind. Naruto took the letter out he had in his pocket. Yeah, you see, Hinata and I had a bit of trouble during one of our missions. We're ninjas, by the way. On our way back after crossing the border between Cha and Hai, our senseis came back with reinforcements. They're outside. She looked out the window, and saw several of the Konoha ninjas waiting outside, admiring the lake. She could briefly hear the jounin with the bowl-cut hair shout something about the flames of youth. We traveled down this path when we just happened to cross this tree house your brother made his living in. He even sold me a lantern for the forest outside his home. It did come in handy. Hina smiled, giggling a bit. That's Kikoru, alright. Naruto handed her the letter, and she accepted it. Thanks, Naruto-kun, Hinata-chan. Listen, maybe next time you come back to the lake, bring some of your friends. Sounds like fun. Good night, Hina. She waved as the two left the store. She stayed by the door, watching as the boy, Naruto, clad in a green tunic, boarded his horse with the girl, and they traveled to the forests, which she suspected going back to his home village. The other ninjas followed after them. She walked back to the counter, and pulled out an album book. It was in fine condition, but the last page she turned to show a photo of what was depicted as her ancestor, standing next to a guy who wore similar garments as Naruto did, holding up a very large fish. The photo of course had aged with time, and was extremely brittle. It was preserved perfectly and very carefully under a laminate, but even the laminate itself showed its age. Maybe we met in a past life. She then smiled to herself, closing the book and setting it back under the counter near the register. She always was one who took things such as the supernatural as, well, odd. But at times there are things in this world today that can otherwise be explained as a ninja thing. I wonder if my past self fell in love with that guy, she sighed, a bit of a blush forming. /end flashback/. After lunch, Ki and Tenten went to gather their friends. They managed to round up Shikamaru, Chuji, Ino, Kin, Temari, and Hinata. Sakura was busy and Shino had clan business to deal with. Niji was still training, as was Lee. They headed to the Hokage Tower, where after Naruto went past the secretary ignoring her, he opened the door as usual, and gave his usual greeting that resulted in him blocking a thrown object using the shield. "What do you want, Naruto?" "I'm busy here," she said. Busy drinking, sleeping, or a combination of the two if Shizen-chan wasn't here. Shizen giggled a bit, ignoring the glare from Tsunade. "Anyway, can we leave the village? I want to take the group I assembled to visit Hina at the fishing shack." Tsunade grunted, as two ninjas came in, and dropped some paperwork for her, and left. She then sighed, and waved her hand. "Fine, go, but you better be back before the gates lock. And must you always go everywhere dressed like that? Hey, it comes with being the hero. I need to stay prepared. I don't want to end up in a defenseless situation again." The smile slipped from his face, and Tsunade bit back a curse. Of course, his experience with the loss of Hitomi, and the event that happened afterward made Naruto a bit more edgy and protective of himself, but also for those he cared for the most. But the smile returned, though just slightly as he left the office, with the others following. The lake had few visitors today and some kids at the eastern strip of sand with their parents or other family members. Epona walked over to the tree and stayed under the shade while Naruto walked into the door, followed by his friends after some guests left. Hina looked up and smiled brightly. "Naruto. Glad to see you here." "Oh, brought friends?" "Yup. We're here to spend some time here at the lake for the rest of the day." Hina smiled brightly. "That's great. Need anything, don't hesitate to ask now." And they all spread across the shop, as Naruto walked up to Hina. "Say, Hina, you wouldn't happen to have like some sort of beginner's kit for fishing, do you?" "Oh, sure thing, Naruto-kun." She steps out from behind the counter, and beckoned Naruto over. As Hina showed Naruto the various different fishing poles, Chuji was taking a look at the snacks aisle. Temari was looking at some of the swimwear they had for the ladies, more interested at this two-piece swimsuit she found. Ino and Kin were also looking at some of the swimwear that was sold here. Shikamaru just hung by the door, and yawned briefly. Hinata hung with Naruto. "Understand?" "Yup." Naruto bought the right kit and tackle box. Other purchase has been brought up, and Hina packed them all away for the group, as Naruto paid for it all, despite his friends saying that they could pay for their own things. Naruto didn't listen and paid for everything. Hina smiled as she also allowed Naruto the use of her canoe to go out to the lake for fishing if he wished. A Kage Bunshin is always needed to help Hina carry it from the outdoor storage shed to the dock. Naruto decided to go out to the lake, using the oar to paddle the boat from the dock. The girls who had bought swimwear fit for their figures used the changing rooms inside the shop, while Shikamaru rested against the tree, just admiring the lake, and looking towards the sky to watch the clouds roll by. Chuji ate his snacks he bought, of course sharing them with Shikamaru. Out in the lake, Midna formed from his shadow, and snagged a bag of cheese-flavored potato crisps which Naruto bought as well. "Well, this is peaceful," she says, relaxing back into a conformable position, in Naruto's lap. Naruto stole the first chip she pulled out, and ate it with a smirk. She pouted playfully, until Naruto took the next one, and fed her the small crisp. "I remember the time I spent with Link at the fishing hole. It was after our little trip through the sacred grove the first time to find the Master Sword. You know, that girl looks almost like the one from centuries ago." "Really?" "Yeah," Midna replied, "in fact, she could pass off as a twin." Was Naruto's response, as he takes off his hat and stuffs it folded one into his shirt, and pulled out the fishing pole, and attached one of the hooks. Afterward, he casts his line, and waits. "If I still had the fox, something like this would be boring, and I would probably be still a loud-mouthed troublemaker." "Not that you still cause trouble," Midna said with a soft laugh, remembering the super glue incident between Biggs, Wedge, and toilet seats. "Yeah, but I wouldn't have you either." Midna smiled warmly at that. She leaned up, and captured his lips for a minute. Naruto sat the rod handle in one of the oar rings as he daringly sucked on the tip of her tongue she pushed into his mouth. That rewarded him with a soft moan coming from the chibified princess. From the bank, Hinata pulled down some binoculars she had brought with her, and giggled softly. That was hot. Wait, what did I just say? Aha! Got one. The kiss was broken when Naruto noticed his rod jiggling, due to his hook being bitten. Midna was blushing, feeling very happy inside. Inside the shack, Hina was reading the papers until she spied something. How could they not notice they added an extra S in bananas? She was looking at coupons in the local Shinra market ads, where they had a coupon savings of 66 cents for 1 pound of bananas. In Konoha, one of the jail cells had one Tuji Mizuki imprisoned. Ever since he had tried to kill Naruto, Iruka, and by proxy, Hinata, he had been left forgotten. This is where he was destined to rot forever, locked away from humanity. He had lost everything in life, his job, the money, the hidden drugs he's kept hidden at the academy, and his lover, who had come up to him before he got locked away for life, and was slapped across the face. And it was that brat's fault. The demon fox boy Naruto. Need help? Mizuki looked around, obviously now thinking he's gone insane. I can help you. All you need to do is drink this potion, and everything shall be fine. You can even get your revenge on the child who locked you away in the first place. From the darkness of his jail cell, came a crystal vial filled with a yellowish liquid that, well, looked more like urine swirled with chunky milk, pretty much disgusting. This shall grant you the power to become stronger than the fox. Drink it, and you can escape, and take revenge against the demon boy. Mizuki, obviously insane enough to listen, would do anything for a second chance. This was it. He dove for it and popped the glass cork and drank the contents, gagging a few seconds. Fuck, this tastes horrible. Then a pulse of energy rips through his body, shredding the seal that prohibited him from molding his chakra. The seals that were placed around his wrists burned away, and he screamed, alerting Anbu. As they rushed to the gate, said jail door explodes from the hinges and Mizuki emerged. Under his clothes that shewed the grime he's endured in the cell, near the end of his tailbone was a glowing red seal. A cursed seal, to be exact. Kill the demon boy, he muttered, and roared as the cursed seal pulsed. The Anbu were knocked out by the man's speed, before he made to escape. In the darkness, he watched with a smile, before his eyes vanished. Mizuki cackled, as the dirty, yet seemingly buff man, had managed to break out from solitary confinement and into the cafeteria. As ninjas break in to stop Mizuki, multiple clashes of lightning erupt and strike them all down, as Kumo emerged from a portal of Twilight. Mizuki saw his chance, especially since the strange armored man told him to jump in. He took no chances. He vanished in a swirl of twilight, just as Ibiki and Enko rush in with reinforcements. Naruto laid back as comfortably as he could in the canoe. Midna lies down in his lap as well, having zapped her headgear into her interdimensional pocket. They had caught some fish, a few Naruto had let go into the lake, but only keeping the bigger catch of mainly catfish and carp. The carp would be good for a long cook in the smoker he had bought recently, and the catfish could get their meat clean and cleanly cut to make breaded and fried nuggets. This is so peaceful, Midna yawned. The village can be like a bustling town. Naruto chuckled a bit, holding the chibi close. True. I'm glad that we had crossed paths with Kikoru. May have never met Hina or known about this lake. You do know that they have ancestors, right? Yeah. Koro, Hina, and Izzy, from the past, right? She nods. The peace is disrupted briefly when a shockwave died near the boat. Both looked to the shore where Hinata was holding her sword she still kept. Apparently, she learned to use his shockwave kenjutsu. They returned to relaxing. Their descendants today are Kikoru, Hina oddly enough, and Liz. Naruto smiled softly, while Midna closed her eyes, to enjoy the peace and quiet. She smiled, as Naruto kept a hold on the girl. The day was ending, and Naruto had to row back to the docks, and helped Hina store the canoe away, while Midna watched from Hinata's shadow. With the fish he caught, and had stringed, Hina even helped Naruto fillet and cut the catfish and prepare the carp. Once everything was bagged up, and the remains left for any wildlife to snack on, Hina bid goodbye to Naruto and his friends, mostly Naruto. That was a fun day. Shikamaru had to agree. Yes, it was fun. Much more relaxing. The trek back to the village wasn't long, and they made it before curfew. Of course, as Naruto and the girls who lived at his apartment head home, they heard a jounin whispering about a breakout from the Konoha ninja prison. That got Naruto worried all of a sudden, and feeling a sense of dread. And once again, Naruto returned back to the lake. It was a regular routine to him now, to wear the green tunic, and stay armed with the Master Sword and the Konoha shield. Of course, the reason he gone to the lake was because Teuchi decided to try the concept of delivery. And, since Naruto was going have lunch there, he decided to make his a delivery, and paid for his half of the meal. As he arrived, Midna disappeared back into his shadow, and he got off Epona, who gave him an affectionate nudge with her nose. Naruto smiled as he walked towards the house, and had a clone open the door for him. Hina, Naruto-kun. Naruto smiled as he walked up to her, and handed her the delivery. I was at Ichiraka Ramen when I heard about an order going to be delivered to the fishing shack, so I thought I'd come and deliver this to you, and enjoy my own lunch here as well. This explains the second paper bag. Hina smiled. Sure, come on upstairs. Naruto blushed a bit but went around the counter and followed the girl up the stairs, and into her apartment. Back in Konoha, Kin sat down at Ichiraka Ramen, and ordered a small vegetable ramen. She was surprised that Naruto wasn't here. Sure, he eats healthier now, but ramen was still the best thing for him. Where's Naruto? Smiled a bit, as she handed her a large glass of iced water. Naruto volunteered to do a delivery for us to a customer who works at a fishing shack near the lake. Ah, I see. He went to go see Hina. Hina's place was something of a typical civilian household. The TV was on and was on Food Network, and Naruto sat down at one of her couches, having taken off his hat and laid his sword and shield near the door, along with taking off his boots. Both of them were enjoying their lunch. So, it's peaceful here, isn't it? Yup. The village is more or less like a typical village. Though, I wonder about Sunnyvale City though. Oh, Sunnyvale? I have heard about that city. They're famous for the shrine they have on top of Mount Hakurei. Yeah. I had a previous sensei named Sanosuke who briefly trained me to use a kenjutsu technique of his. Hina smiled, as she slurped some noodles quietly. Some quiet came, until she looked at Naruto again. Did anyone tell you that you look so handsome wearing that? You look like a hero. Not much, but a few girls who bunk at my apartment tell me otherwise. Hell, before my life had changed for the better, I was a loudmouth brat always seeking attention. Though I do prank sometimes, it wasn't as much as I did when I was younger. Oh, really? She questioned, looking at Naruto and trying to keep that blush from forming. Yup. She smiled, and he smiled back, before returning to finishing off the broth and swallows the noodles that were left. When he had finished, and cleaned the bit of juice that escaped with a napkin, he turned to face Hina. Only, she was now scooting closer. Naruto-kun. Naruto begins to blush now, as Hina brought a hand to get a feel of his blonde locks, and was surprised to feel the silkiness of his hair. Hold on, Naruto-kun, I need to show you something. She got up and headed down the stairs again, and Naruto sat there, the blush still evident on his cheeks. She soon returned, this time with a photo book. She sets it down in her lap and opens it, and towards the back, she reveals a photo. Midna, through Naruto, saw the photo, and could not believe it. There was Link, standing there holding the large rare Hylian loach that he caught one summer day after their trek in the Temple of Time, and next to Link was a very happy Hina. She remembered that Iza was the one who took the photo, as Hina wanted to be in it with Naruto. This guy looks just like you, Naruto. Wow. He's my ancestor, Naruto confirmed, very surprised. So, this is Link, wow, he thought. Yup, and that means this girl is my ancestor. We look like twins, huh? She giggled, and Naruto chuckled. Yeah, you do. When you came the first time, I was surprised. This is strange, kind of, he said. She closed the book, and sets it to the side on the floor, before turning towards Naruto, with a blush on her face returning. Makes me wonder if our ancestors fell in love, she thought aloud. Midna knew the answer to that. They did fall in love, and they were still dating when the world was saved and she had to return to the Twilight realm. But when she managed to return, seeing Link and Ilia gave her the idea that somewhere along the line, they had parted ways. Maybe, he says. After lunch was finished, Hina did pay for the bill, and Naruto packed the payment away. Hey, Naruto, are you busy with anything? No, what is it? She took out a letter. Can you deliver this to Kikoru, please? Sure thing, Hina-chan. She smiled, and gave him a kiss on the cheek, making Naruto blush. He puts the letter away and puts his boots back on, before heading down the stairs with the sword and shield equipped onto his back. Hina watched as Naruto boarded Epona, and waving to her, he snaps the reins and Epona rides away in the direction of where Kikoru would live. I hope he comes back, she thought aloud, before breaking into a blush. Kakashi sighed. There was a mission that came up, but the only person he could find was Sakura. Naruto was out of the village, and from what he learned from Iam when by chance they bumped into one another at the bookstore, went to do a delivery for them to a customer at the lake. Now, the mission was to protect an actress in which the movie was going to have its scenes shot in Yuki no Kuni. But, in order to go, first, Naruto needs to be found, and then they will need a third genin to join. And so, playing safe, he gathered kin, and then grabbed Kiba since he wasn't doing anything, and Kurenai allowed the temporary transfer. With the mission scroll in hand, they left to head to the lake to grab Naruto, their charges following the shinobi. What do you mean Naruto's not here? I asked him if he could deliver a letter for me, and he said that he would do that for me, so I handed it to him, and he galloped off towards my brother's house. Kakashi groaned. Well, thank you anyway, miss. Well kids, Naruto's off doing a delivery without permission, so we'll just have to go without him. Let's go. Sakura looked at Hina, who was counting up the money in the safe, keeping track of investments. Kiba chuckled and left, as Akamaru barked to Kiba, in which the dog boy could only understand his own Ninken. She wondered just what the heck Naruto was up to, as she followed her sensei out of the house. Chapter 19. Mechi Kasaida. He was your typical non-ninja mercenary, who would use small bombs, arrows, or a scythe as a main use of capturing or killing criminals too dangerous for capture. Also, there was one thing he hated the most other than criminals, and Jinchuriki, his name. Because when both last and first name are rearranged they spell the first names of two of the most dangerous S-rank nuke nin. But enough of this guy, since he was halfway across the globe. No, we focus on one Uzumaki Naruto, chosen hero by the gods and goddesses, descendant of the last hero, Link, and former Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Unaware that his team had gone on a mission and he was not there to get dragged along. Sure, such things could happen and he could get probation for not attending a mission, but he also had that real challenging ordeal of being a hero. All of a sudden, several spikes shot down, creating a ring that then generating an invisible barrier. Epona whinnied, startled because of the suddenness of this situation thrusted upon them. Naruto hopped off the mare and calmed her down, but she kept panicking, especially since Midna gasped seeing a portal of Twilight opening high above. And from this portal, came three black beast-like creatures, wearing odd masks that had a spiral from the edges going straight down to the center. The mask itself was gunmetal gray, but there were glowing lines that depicted the hieroglyphics of the Twilight realm on it. Damn! What the hell are they? Naruto yelled. Shadow creatures. Naruto! Naruto dodged as one came charging up at him fairly fast. He dodged the swing of its dangerous claws, and Naruto unloaded one hard slash at it. It screeched in pain and attempted an attack, but Naruto stabbed it, and the creature fell to the ground with a defeated cry, and did not move again. Bits of black dust were floating around it. Naruto! If you don't finish them off at the same time, the survivor will just revive the fallen beasts. Midna yelled floating high as one tried to claw her. They then turned their attention on Naruto, and came up at him, but he readied himself, and released a kaitenjiri. The powered blade sliced through them at the same time, and they both fell. The three beasts then explode into twilight. However, the clusters, as Naruto termed it, shot into the sky. He watched as it created the same portal, but instead of red, the portal was greenish-blue, or was it a teal? What in the world was that? He must be getting stronger, she muttered, before turning to look at Naruto. Naruto, they are shadow creatures. They're demonic beasts of the twilight. Link and I had to fight them constantly throughout our first adventure. They usually come in 3s, 4s, or groups of double the number 5 and 6. If you kill them like any other evil creature, the survivor will unleash a deafening screech. That screech can literally revive its fallen comrades. They all have to be taken out at the same time, or, do what you did, whittle the number, then kill the last 2 at the same time. So, what do these things do? Other than be a very obvious sign that people are going to start questioning whether or not aliens exist. She gave him a stern look. Aliens do not exist. What about you? People can mistake you as one if you were seen. She opened her mouth, and then shuts it, lowering that finger she had up. Fine, but, well, they appeared across Hyrule whenever these shadow creatures came. Sure, some people wondered what they were, but as soon as Ganondorf was killed, they all began to vanish one by one. But beforehand, the more portals that opened, the more dangerous creatures littered the land. Lansing could very well regain his dark army, and then a second coming would arrive. Well, this is really bad, Naruto sighed, before walking over to Epona, and got back on the now calm horse, and Midna floats next to him before taking a seat in front of him. Though, would be better if they just disappeared. The portal, as if hearing his wish, vanished. Naruto looked up as he heard the sound of a closing portal, but instead of really closing up, the thing turned black, and then vanished, as if under an invisible cloak. Not one to second-guess things unless tempted or otherwise, Naruto returned on his trip to Kikoru. Like I want people to find out too early, he hissed, before putting away his handheld mirror that showed the fight. He immediately switched to his Toby voice when Deidara came up to him. The two-tailed Nico has been spotted. Let's go Toby. Toby is a good boy. He. Deidara sighed, wishing to have Sasori as his partner. At least he stayed quiet. He had made it to Kikoru's home, a day later. He had forgotten traveling by horse did cut time of, but still, the distance was long. The same can be told to Kakashi and his team, having run into 3 ninja who wanted to go after the actress, who was discovered to be the princess of Yuki. Naruto would have known had he actually been home at the time the mission came up. Of course, Naruto then would not be given the chance to save someone else like him, who was a Jinchuriki, and was being pursued by Deidara and Toby of Akatsuki. After delivering the letter and he returned to Epona, Midna tugged at him. What is it, Midna? Do you feel that? Naruto then tensed. Yes. I do. Midna growled a bit. It was faint, but she felt Lansing's energy spike, multiple spikes going to the far north. If she remembered of the map, it was a country that holds a village known as Kyomogakure no Sato. At one instance, Naruto wanted to go and track down that energy spike. He was a ninja. But, he was sure to get his ass in deep trouble if he gone without any help. On the other hand, he practically has power that was the Master Sword and Midna on his side, who could bail him out with her magic. He may be a ninja, but he was also the chosen hero, because of the Triforce bared on his hand. You feel it too. Both screamed, in which Naruto screamed and Midna was still in Naruto's shadow, so only Naruto heard her cry, and turned around, seeing Kururi. The pretty girl frowned. She had also felt that spike of magical energy. Kururi, right? She nods. I shall come with you. I also do not like that feel of evil. Now Midna and Naruto looked at one another. Naruto turned his eyes back to the girl, and extended a hand. She was helped up onto the horse, and Epona snapped the reins, and both priestess and hero gallop off towards the far north. Midna remained quiet, within Naruto's shadow. You see, this unplanned travel led the two on a trail that Kururi told Naruto to use, which led them to Port City. From there, in the week and a half that passed, they continued onward, heading into another country that to its left bordered the village where the rumored Otogakure was supposed to exist. Now, there was a day where they did get some rest, and Kururi decided out of the blue to teach Naruto another technique for the sword, the Kaze Kiwa, wind edge, technique. Naruto, the Kaze Kiwa is a wind-based technique that also filters through using your chakra source. Naruto nodded, having understood. His element of course was Futon Jutsus, after he had used one of those slips Kin told him about during their travel to find Tsunade. In order to release it, she lectured, you must first be calm. Concentrate on the energy you gather, and draw it into the base of the sword you hold in hand. This is hard, yes, but if you do it right, you and then have a whirlwind of energy surrounding the blade itself. Upon so, thrusting it, you can catch your opponent off guard when a cyclone of chakra and wind energy leaps out to strike them down. That is what gives it the name Wind Edge. Naruto nodded. Kururi demonstrated by channeling the energy inside of her, and drew it into her chosen weapon, which was an ornamental staff-like weapon. With a Kaya cry, she thrusts the staff in a lunge, and sent the cyclone of swirling wind forward. Naruto widens his eyes. See? Yeah, looks hard. Trust me, it's going to be a useful technique once you master its use. Naruto nodded, and got to work. While he did, Kururi did surprise Naruto by using a summoning technique and called one of those toucan birds from the tropical regions. The bird had a small scroll tied to its leg before it flew off towards the direction of Konoha. What was that? Messages to send to your village leader, Naruto, she replied. Now then, keep practicing, Naruto. She stood behind him, and held his hands in hers as she helped him with form. 3 weeks of travel, and they were a mile away from the border that leads to Kaminari no Kuni. It was also around that same time that Kin, with all of her strength and skills, combined with her teammates, managed to overthrow an evil warlord and saved Yuki no Kuni. The movie was also completed. How she stopped him was the use of the Rasengan, something Naruto had been teaching her lately. When the princess had asked Kin where she finds her strength, she had replied that her strength and devotion to protecting the innocent came from a young man who had saved her from her own darkness. Uzumaki Naruto. And that is how the princess was interested in one day meeting this Naruto. Kakashi and Team 7 had returned to Konoha after their travel, and had entered Tsunade's office. Team 7 reporting. Mission complete, Kakashi says. Tsunade looked up, and frowned. Where's Naruto? Well, a few weeks ago, Naruto delivered some ramen to this girl, Hina, who owns that fishing shack near the lake outside the village. When we went there, I brought Inuzuka Kiba with me with permission from Kurine, because I had this feeling Naruto was not going to be there. I was right. Hina had asked Naruto for a favor, and Naruto replied, and had delivered a letter to her brother Kikoru, who had given Naruto a lantern. We decided to go on the mission, using Kiba as Naruto's replacement. There was tapping on the window, and Tsunade looked behind her to see a toucan staying afloat, with a scroll in its clawed grip. "Let me in," it squawked. Shizen jumped, but opened the window, as the toucan flew in and drops the scroll onto the desk. "Hello. My name's Purin. Message from Priestess Kururi," it said, before flying out the window and vanishing into the sky. It was a non-sealed scroll, which they found highly suspicious. She opened the scroll, and read the contents. "Hello village leader. I am Priestess Kururi. I have a young man named Uzumaki Naruto in my company. We are currently traveling to Kaminari no Kuni, seeking after 2 chakra signatures. One of them, with my skills, belongs to S-Class Nuknin Deidara. The other one has a mixed energy signature, but he feels like 2 souls in one. It baffles me, but I have reason to believe they are going after something, which is why I am tracking down these 2 dangerous criminals with Naruto's help. If you wish to send backup, please do so. Even with my powers as a certified priestess, even I may not have the power to truly defend Naruto the hero. Priestess Kururi. What in the hell?" Tsunade roared, which the entire village heard her raged cry. "Lady Hokage-sama, Naruto is in the company of a priestess," she said, with a calm demeanor, yet her voice was also laced with the anger she was feeling. "They are chasing down S-Class Nuknin Deidara of IWA and another chakra signature." Kakashi dropped his book, and Shizen had gasped. "Kakashi! Gather whoever can go. Shizen, find a way to contact Jiraiya now." Tsunade commanded, as she had a right of mind to kick Naruto's ass for doing something so stupid and dangerous. This was also means of probation if he ever did return alive, if he did. Of course, while all of the commotion was happening, Kin had been helped onto a couch by Sakura and Kiba since she had fainted hearing the startling news. Back miles away from Konoha, Naruto halted his horse as Kururi hops off and runs towards a fallen Kimonin. Naruto rushed over as well, switching his hat with another that did not have his headband stitched to it. Kururi helped the ninja up, as he coughed weakly. "Stop them, 2 guys with black cloaks with red clouds, and another who looks like a humanoid tiger, they're going to Kumogakure." "Rest my friend," she said soothingly, her hands lit with a soft warm aura to heal some of the more fatal wounds. "Wait. Take me to safety, please," he begged. Kururi nodded. Naruto suddenly brought this blade up and swung, cutting through a blade of chakra. The 2 halves strike trees and cause a miniature explosion. Well, leaving him alive did work. "Well, demon boy, it's time I got my revenge." Dropping down was a yellow and white striped human crossbred with that of a tiger. For clothes were military-styled pants, and a black muscle tank. Everything else exposed fur, and dangerous-looking claws on his morphed feet, and from his clawed hands. There was this aura of evil that surrounded this man, and even Midna felt it. That feeling of imminent doom. "Demon boy, you can't be." He smiled evilly. "I escaped, and now I get my revenge on you, demon." Tuji Mizuki cursed form. While Kururi focused on healing the fallen Kimonin, Naruto defended himself against the revenge-driven Mizuki, who still thought he was the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. "Die already, freak!" Naruto narrowed his eyes as he blocked the numerous melee strikes from the Catman's claws, before lashing out with Kaitenjiri. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto summoned several clones, and let them loose. Mizuki snarls and rids them all, only to get several kunai embedded into his chest. Naruto glared at the man. How did you escape? From outside help. He wore armor that resembled lightning. Dark Nut Kumo, he thought with a hiss. Mizuki roars and leapt into the air, only to come down smashing his fist into the dirt. The resulting shockwave of torn earth spreads, destroying the other clones and nearly burying Naruto. He had used his chakra grapple to swing up towards a tree branch and over the wave. Kururi had, with ease, lifted the injured ninja and jumped up as well. Mizuki runs at him, and slams his fist into his gut. Naruto coughed, launched towards a tree. Mizuki's hands trailed through hand signs, before he exhaled a large fireball. Naruto stood his ground, wincing at the backache and swung his blade up, cleaving the fireball in half, but caused it to explode. Brushing past the flames, Naruto jumped at Mizuki who came at him, and he sliced across his chest. The man roared in pain as he fell. Naruto backflipped away from Mizuki, as the man forced himself back up. He snarled, as he turned to glare at the hero. You demon, you're going to die. I'm going to smear your brains across the trees. Hate to disappoint, but the Kyuubi got ripped from me months ago. I haven't been a Jinchuriki ever since the start my Genin days, Naruto said with a smirk. Lies. You are a demon, brat. Naruto shielded against a wave of chakra he released from slashing his claws. Mizuki then buckled, and grasped his head. The potion that he drank earlier was now starting to affect his bodily functions. What's wrong with me? Ha, fool. A bolt of lightning strikes the ground behind Naruto, and he jumped back as Kumo's glowing eyes locked onto Naruto's cerulean orbs. That potion is a transforming potion, it's destroying everything that is Tuji Mizuki, and reshaping you into a demonic form, the very thing you curse, you shall now become, a mutated beast. His laughs were cold, as Mizuki screamed hoarsely to the sky, as his muscles bulged and grew. His body began to grow taller, as his upper half slowly transformed into a hulking behemoth psychotically addicted to steroids. The hands explode, as the fingers now hardened, becoming claws. The tail grew longer and thicker, the tip slowly growing a spike at its tip. His face slowly mutated to that of a tiger, the canines turning into saber teeth. Kumo smiled. Kill the boy. He vanished. Tuji Mizuki mutated. The now demonic Mizuki let out a roar, and charged him on all four, since his legs turned lupin. Naruto cursed as he rolled to the side. He drew some ninoms and threw them, using the explosion to distract the half-man/half-tiger. It did work, for a moment, before Mizuki roughly claws Naruto's torso. Kururi gasped, as she left the fallen ninja alone. The guy managed to get back up and to safety as she unsealed a bow. She pulled at the string, and gathered energy into the draw. Shaho, Korea, archery, light arrow. She released the string and the streaming bolt of light strikes Mizuki in the back before he could tear Naruto's throat. The beast howled in pain. Naruto got back up, using his hands to slam his boots into the beast's snout. Then, using his weight, applied pressure before jumping off, performed a forward flip, twisted his body and landed on his feet, sword and shield ready. Mizuki roared. But as he did, a blast of lightning shot towards Naruto. Had he not dodged at the last second, he could have been fried. Okay, that's new. Kururi still held the bow as she ran to dodge the attack the wild feral was letting loose. Naruto came up and halted his advance, swinging his weapon and slashing a long cut across his thick upper chest. But, he gets batted away and he lost his sword in the process. Kururi did a backward somersault, and just as she landed, a bolt of light is fired. Mizuki dodged it, and she cursed as she kept light on her feet. When Mizuki charged the priestess, Naruto managed to bash him in the face with his shield. He leapt over his shadow clone, and struck his skull with the blade. Now behind the feral, unleashed the combo attack, but the last kick was caught by the tail, and he swung, sent crashing into Kururi. Both teenagers immediately got up, Naruto pulling the girl into his arms as he jumped away from a full-fledged takedown. Naruto, when I land one of my light arrows at it, you go in and attack. He's nothing more than a dangerous beast, okay? Sure. Naruto set Kururi down, and fired an arrow when Mizuki charged them. He howls in pain as the glowing bolt struck him right in the face, and he charged in, and swung the master sword across the transformed man's chest. Naruto jumped back when Mizuki regained movement and tried to claw the blonde's face. He heard something was by, and saw a light arrow. But it missed the target and the Lupin Mizuki roared, firing that mouth beam shot of his. Naruto felt he was in some sort of weird anime. He blocked with Gokumonkin, but winced as Mizuki dodged out of a fatal slice along his neck. Kururi stunned him however with a bolt of light, and he decided to end this by thrusting the blade through the throat, and blood spewing out the back. He pulls back as Mizuki crumpled to the floor, returning back to a human form. However, he lost about all of his muscle mass, and looked shriveled up and dead. Chapter 20. Epona nickered. What is it? Epona then looks towards the Kyomonin who was walking up to him. Thank you, for saving me, you and the priestess. Are you from Konoha? He gestured to Naruto's shield, having seen the insignia of the leaf on the background of the metal shield despite the eye-catching detail of the, unknown to him, Triforce. Yes, but they don't even know. I'm with Kururi here on my own accord. He speaks the truth, Kururi tells the Kyomonin. A scream echoes, and they turn toward the source. Naruto ran and jumped onto Epona as he charges off, grabbing Kururi and swinging her onto the mare, while the fully healed Kyomo ninja followed after them, having recognized that cry. Yujito backed away, as two guys stalked her. The teenager knew these two wanted her for the nibi she had sealed into her since birth. They even said it themselves, before attacking her, trying to take her out so it would been much easier. He has been in the fight against them, doing very well until they managed to knock her out from her bijou form. She had since then been on the run from these two, until they had finally trapped her outside Kaminari no Kuni. Just as Haiden delivers the final blow, Deidara breaks through the ground, gasping for air. As he finally unburies himself, he finds himself in the surprised company of Kakuzu and Haiden, two other members of the Akatsuki. Kakuzu was a man who steals the hearts of his victims and uses it as extra lives, while Haiden was a religious man, who worshipped the god Jashin, by killing victims in the name of Jashin with the use of a tri-bladed scythe. The hell? Haiden yelled. We were chasing after you too, until Toby and I were attacked. Toby's dead. Haiden snorted. Good, always hated that skipping prick. Who killed him anyway? Some armored man with an affinity for lightning. All of a sudden, a swirl of twilight emerged, and in came Lansing. Him. Lansing felt all eyes on him, but he turned his attention to Yujito. Ah, the Nibi no Nekatama, ni Yujito. A soft chuckle escaped his throat. Hey! Who in the name of Jashin are you? Haiden yells. Wait, Haiden, this is the man who had stolen the Kyubi no Kitsune from one of the former targets Uzumaki Naruto, spoke Kakuzu. Correct. I am the Twilight King. I require her powers so you are. His hand began to glow, dismissed. The two Nuke-nin took stance, as Yujito tried to escape, but a bolt of lightning emerged, and Kyomo grappled the struggling young lady. That's the creep who killed Toby and destroyed my beautiful works of art, yeah. Let go of me. She yelled, flaring her bijou's power. Kyomo laughed, and knocked her upside the head, knocking her out. Kyomo, take the girl away, she shall be useful in killing Uzumaki Naruto. I will take care of these scumbags. Kyomo vanished before Kakuzu could release the power of his fire mask. Him. A man who steals hearts, a devil worshipper, and a clay bomber with tongues in his hands. The king cackled softly, this will be fun. Jashin is not a devil, you heathen bastard. Haiden shouts. Three lovely goddesses and Kami would gladly disagree on that statement. The king smiled behind his mask, before a portal opened up above him. Dropping from the portal were 6 shadow creatures. He floated back, kill them. Before he vanished. The creatures all converged on them. Kakuzu released 2 of his masks, unleashing fire and lightning jutsus, while Haiden was swinging his scythe, slashing 2 down. Deidara struck 2 with his clay birds. They fell down, but as Haiden was going to kill the last one, it screeched loudly. The 3 found themselves stunned, and before their eyes, the fallen beasts rose up from the floor, as if they had never died. They resumed the attack. The king watches, invisible, as they were weakened down by the might of the beasts he summoned, before Haiden got the lucky idea of killing them all in a single sweep, which he did with his scythe. With them killed, the portal remerged, and formed one before it rendered itself invisible. Him. His voice echoed all around them, impressive. So, Naruto isn't the only one who can combat my shadow creatures. Nonetheless, you will not have the girl. Her powers will do wonders for me and my overall goal. After all, what I did to Naruto shall happen to the girl, when I pit those 2 in battle. The Jinchuriki is ours. Hayden shouted, "You blasphemous freak. Ha, then explain how you failed your mission." All of a sudden, they were warped under his magic, under swirls of twilight, forcibly returning to the Akatsuki base. He emerged from his invisibility form, and turned around just as Naruto charged in, and halted his horse. Both he, and Kururi sitting behind him, looked at the Twilight King. Lansing. "Ah, the boy who lived, so good to see you again. Well, Naruto, no need to worry about Deidara anymore, or Hayden and Kakuzu. I had ejected them back to their base. I have the girl now, and if you want to save her, you'll have to find her. Let the girl go." "Oh no. I will not. You'll have to defeat her, once of course I transform her by force. The Jinchuriki of the Nibi no Nekatama, go to the Lightning Temple, if you wish to save her, fool." His laugh echoed all around as he vanished in twilight. Naruto scowled, and snapped on the reins, and charges off, soon passing the border of Kyomo, while the Kyomonin they had saved from Mizuki followed after them, finding all of this weirdness getting weirder. They made it to the border into Kaminari no Kuni. Naruto, Kururi, and the Kyomonin Hyoto managed to get past the guards with no trouble. However, they were following after Kururi, who was tracking down the sudden aura of evil that sprung up. Hyoto however told the ANBU that patrolled the border to get the Reikage, and tell him that an unknown enemy has captured Inuyujuto. They shunshin away with a poof of smoke, traveling towards Kyomogakure to alert their Kage of a threat situation. "You too, the direction we're going, it's going to take us to the Lightning Temple owned by some monks." "Yes. I have been there before," Kururi spoke, "I know a few of the monks there. I fear that the evil has taken refuge within, and may have turned it into his own dungeon of darkness." Traveling non-stop was Kakashi, Guy, Enko, Kurine, several ANBU, and other ninjas trusted with this mission Tsunade issued. "Can't believe Naruto would do something like this," Kakashi said, unsure of whether to feel mad at his student for doing something so foolish, or feel bad because Naruto would get in a lot of trouble that could damage the village for entering another country illegally. "Naruto will be fine, but let's hope this does not cause any war to spring up with Kyomo. They still wish to obtain the Byakugan by any means necessary." How they traveled was using Enko's summon to bring forth a large snake that could carry them all and cross vast distances. In Konoha, Kin was frantic, as were the rest of Naruto's girls, and his other friends of course. Everyone was shocked to learn that Naruto had gone to Kaminari no Kuni with some priestess, and not even tell the village. In Kyomo, the Reikage had learned of what had happened, and had gone to travel with various other Kyomonins and his ANBU guard. They of course were traveling to the Lightning Temple, because the entire village felt a sudden flare of demonic yokai emanating from that general location. The cause for the flare of energy was Lansing warping the temple into his own twisted dungeon, and of course, tormenting Yujuto until his power had captured the bijou within. The same controlling crystal he used to turn the Shikaku Jinchuriki against Naruto would now be used on the Nibi against the hero. The Temple of Lightning. Kururi had visited this shrine 3 years ago. But now, the monks that lived at the temple had been driven out by an evil force, and though the outside of the temple remains the same, within, by evil magic have been warped to accommodate the dark army that had been released within. Uzumaki Naruto stood at the small flight of stone steps that leads to the shrine's courtyard. He could feel the evil aura radiating from it. "Naruto, you know what you have to do, right?" Kururi asks the boy. "Yup, I wish you luck in cleansing this evil," she says. Naruto nodded, as he begins his trek up the stairs, as everyone else watches him descend those stairs. Kururi smiled softly. "Brave hero chosen by the gods, you shall succeed. He's coming, my king. Good, let us leave, and let our new pet kill the boy. But, even if he does survive, he'll have weakened the bijou long enough for me to capture it as I did the kitsune." The shadow beast fell to his blade, and exploded into a burst of twilight. The single beast's death caused the gates of Twilight to open up, allowing Naruto entry into the Warp Temple. Walking into the temple, through the small hallway, he found himself in a larger chamber room. He did not trust the few holes in the stone floor. Actually, in fact this entire first room was a bottomless trap hole. There are just a few suspended platforms, with 3 leading to 3 different doors. The side exits were blocked by locked doors, but the one up front was simply sealed. Walking around on 2 of the larger platforms were 2 skeleton-like figures with swords and shields. Midna emerged next to Naruto. This feels so much like a dungeon, Naruto. You know what those walking corpses are? They are called stalfos. They can reanimate themselves even if you beat them. The first time around Link and I had trouble with these creeps. The best way of destroying the remains after you smash them is with some bombs. The explosion is enough to erase their remains. Naruto nodded, as he pulled out a Senbon and attached it with a Nino MB. He flung the lit explosive at the first Stalfos, and blew it up. The second one got caught in the explosive blast, and crumbled. Naruto threw another needle bomb, and destroyed it as well. Naruto jumped across the suspended platforms, destroying the last two Stalfos. The door facing north suddenly opened up, and before him, a chest appeared in a swirl of magic. Okay, that's weird. Naruto opened it up anyway. Naruto obtains a map of the Temple of Lightning. Naruto looked at the thing. Right now, he's on the first floor. There were apparently 2 more floors, but they went down deeper into the ground. Well, this is strange indeed, Midna spoke up, having peeked at it over Naruto's shoulder. She decided to keep a hold of it. As Naruto looked at her, this entire temple screams dark magic. No matter what, keep on your guard. Right. She vanished, and Naruto retraced his steps, before taking the north path and through the door. The next room was a larger room. However, some of the floors alternated. Below him was a pool of water, with several of those biting school of small fish from the Valhalla airship. The other half of the room was across the wide channel. Looking up, there was a small ledge with a door going north, but the only way to get there was with those floating plant-like things. He took a running start and jumped. With the chakra grapple, he lassoed the chain that dangled from the ceiling that had a ring hook at the end. Using his weight, he swung himself to the other side. Immediately, several of the goblin creatures raced at him with clubs. Naruto fought back, spinning in a circle, releasing the chakra whip to stun them. He then took them out with 3 cleaves of the Master Sword. Naruto puts the sword and shield away, and takes out the claw shots. He looked to the door on the small ledge, and then fires 1 claw at the nearest floating plant. Midna kept reminding him they're called pea-hats, and reeled himself up. He looked around, and noticed a lone treasure chest sitting on another ledge, high above the open door he traveled through. So, he claw shots across the room using several other pea-hat and landed on his feet in front of it. All it held was a small key. Naruto arcs an eyebrow. He decided to head back into the first chamber, and took the east path. Unlocking the padlock on it, he opens the door, and enters into a room that was sweltering with heat. Damn! There were only a few pillars of stone that did not melt away into the lava at all. There were only a few supports of metal with mesh chain fences for floors going up towards some suspended platforms on thick chain. A few of those bats, keys, he reminded himself, flying in lazy patterns, but they were lit with flames. He spotted on a grown ledge of stone a weird reddish lizard with a glowing tail. Those are Dodongos. Their weaknesses are the tips of their tails, Naruto. And they do what? Almost like being in front of a furnace expelling a jet of fire. There were in fact 2 of those Dodongos, and they were in front of a larger chest. So, he began to cross the pillars. Only, upon stepping on them, they began to sink, so it was a small race of getting to the other side. He clung to the edge, and pulled himself up as the last pillar sunk into the pool of liquid fire. The path he traveled up was an enclosed fencing. Thankfully the metal didn't burn that hot, but still, pretty warm with the heat in the room. Naruto cursed, feeling the heat start to work against him. He's killed a few of the fiery keys with thrown kunai. When he ran around, he spied a chest on a small ledge. The jump to it was perfect, and this rewarded him another key. Now, here came the skip across the suspended platforms and onto the ledge where they turned to him and the Dodongos began to breathe fire at him. He rolled to the side, away from the lava, mind you, and jumped forward, slashing at the tail. The first one fell to its death, but Naruto backflipped from a jet of fire that nearly burned him. When it crawled up to him, ready to exhale another burst of fire, Naruto strafed around it and attacked its tail. The thing cried before collapsing. Naruto put the sword and shield away again, and ran over to the chest, opening it and reaching in. Naruto obtained the compass for the dungeon, now highlighting the location of treasure chests scattered in the Temple of Lightning. Midna took out the map again, and looked at it. On the 3rd floor, was a marked skull, and there were several chests lying around in this transformed temple. She kept the compass as well, before looking around. It was a long jump to get back to the entrance to the room. Naruto, see that stalagmite? Naruto nodded. Chakra grapple. Naruto nodded, and took a running leap. She flew after him as Naruto extended the whip and wrapped around the thick base of it. But it began to crack, and Naruto swung himself back to the way he started in the room just as it broke, and plunged into the lava. He and Midna backed from the minor splash. They got out of the room and back into the coolness of the first room, only to traverse to the western door. This time, they entered a chamber filled with cold water instead, and overgrown vines along the walls. There was a man-eating shark swimming in the pool, and several of those one-eyed daddy long-legged spider creatures that were water-skipping towards him now that his presence was felt. Oh, and the door behind him had locked. When the Tektite came at him, he killed them with ease. Now, it left him with the shark in the water. There was a small chest in the water, in the center of course. He looked around the room, looking for something that caught this eye. A sudden slash alerted him to the shark that flew out of the water and at him. He ducked to the side, swinging the blade as he cut a long line across the underside. When it flopped, bleed profusely, Naruto shoved a kunai wrapped with 2 explosive tags, and 3 lit ninoms before diving into the water. The result was a bloody explosion of fish. Naruto swam back to the surface, as the door unlocked again. He took a deep breath and dove back under again, and swam towards the chest. He kicked it open before swimming back to the surface, using the chakra grapple to latch onto whatever was inside, which was another small key. The now unlocked door opened. Naruto was hurting a bit from the sudden drop when he went through that door that was now high above him and unreachable, unless he did some skillful wall jumps. According to the map Midna took out, they were on the first subfloor. This room now was overgrown with underground flora. It looked like a garden, with lots of roots. Of course this garden was nothing more than a false image, since it was littering with dark creatures. As they tread carefully into the deadly garden, they heard several slurps. Man-eating plants called dekubabas soon grew from patches of grass, tongues lolling out with a hungry grin. Of course, they all shriveled up into hardened plants when Naruto released his kaitenjiri. Those that survived were what Midna told him were called baba serpents. Well-aimed attacks took them out. All of a sudden, a bomb is dropped before him. He dove to the side as it blew up, but he got caught by the splash of debris. He looked around, and saw one of those pea-hats. Only this pea-hat had 4 green smooth tentacles, and it had the mouth of an octorok. The eyes were a slanted teal blue with yellow beady eyes, and the leaf-like propellers were larger than the non-attacking pea-hat. It vanished into the foliage. I never saw a pea-hat like that before, Midna told Naruto. It nearly blew me up. Then it came at him again, and birthed a blue bomb. That looked oddly disgusting, but Naruto ran for it, jumping over the thick roots, and dodging biting dekubabas. It was lost as Naruto ran into the first door he spotted, and it sealed up behind him. Now where are we? Naruto sighed, as he looked around the chamber. As the last room showed, foliage as far as the eye can see. However, there was a crevice filled with water. Muddy water, but water nonetheless. He noticed a few of the bony fish swimming around. That'd be no problem with a simple kaitenjiri, seeing the water was knee-height. He wandered into the water, and just as he predicted, they came at him. He spun with the sword, the energy slicing through them all with ease. More fish came, and he sliced away at the school. He released another kaitenjiri to rid the rest of those annoying fish. Now, where do I go from here? North, leads to nowhere, but there's a treasure chest in there. Wouldn't hurt to check it out. Nah, okay Midna-chan. Only problem is the door to the northern door was above ground, and there's no cliff, except the tangled vines leading to it. Midna noticed and flew up there. Naruto waded through the muddy water, and began to climb up the wall of vines. Suddenly Naruto got bit by something. It was a baba serpent, hanging from the ceiling. Getting back up, Midna zapped it with a bolt of magic, and Naruto cleaved the sword upward, slicing it vertically in half. Now he attempted climbing back up again. Once getting there, Midna opened the door for him, and he managed to maneuver himself into the room, before it sealed up behind after his entire body passed the doorway. This room was bare. It looked like a simple temple room, with red carpeting and a purple flamed design lining the edges. A cluster of 4 pots along each wall, and of course, the internal lighting this time came from lit torches, 3 each wall. Suddenly a bolt of lightning struck the ground in the center, and in came a Darknut. This Darknut was clad in yellow and blue armor, streamlined, yet almost bulky in girth. Why was he reminded of the Akimichi? Anyway, They looked like the Dark Nut Kyumo, but this one was wider, shorter, but he knew it was not a pushover. Armed with a short broadsword, a perfect round shield, clad with a billowing scarlet cape, A/N, this particular Dark Nut comes from Minish Cap. Midna floated one way and Naruto ducked the other way as it came at him with fast speed, cleaving the weapon down. It turned around, and rushed Naruto, who shielded himself against the indirect strike, barely though. Naruto backflips before jumping right in with a lunge, and caught it off guard with that maneuver. From there, Naruto roared as he released several strikes until it regained its senses and shielded again. The short stack of a dark nut gathered energy into its blade before releasing a whirlwind of fire at Naruto, who cried out in pain. He was up close when the attack struck him. Midna flew over, with her boomerang blade formed off her helmet and threw it. The dark nut merely shielded the measly attack. She caught her boomerang, and this time charged it with some of her own magical energy. She threw it again. A light whirlwind of energy swirled around it, and it nearly tipped the dark nut over. Naruto, pushing through the pain, charged up and thrusted his blade forward. A cutting whirlwind of energy spirals forward, and plows through the dark nut. The metal monster was torn, and it exploded, scattering parts that then explode as well into ash and fire. "Hey Naruto, you just did the Kaze Kiwa technique," said Midna, inspecting the remains, which was its helmet, and found a small key. "I did? Wow, let's get going, nothing else here." Naruto nodded, as the door opened up behind. Chapter 21. The wall explodes, revealing the hidden entrance into a room where the only way Naruto could proceed further was to take a swim into the tunnel below. "This seems like a bad idea." The cries of Stalfos behind him made him take a leap. Emerging on the other side, nearly out of breath, was Naruto. The tunnel seemed a bit long to him, but he made it. Those undead creeps won't catch him now. It has been an hour since he had stepped into the temple. He had faced off against numerous creatures of the darkness, a normal dark nut, and had to get past natural traps and get rid of annoying attacking peahats that birth bombs of all things, keys, or they could be just blood-sucking bats, and so far, 3-leaf wolfos when he entered that chamber of flowers before the surprise attack by 7 Stalfos in the next room, which the small key from the dark nut came in handy. Opening the door before him, he fell down the vertical tunnel, and landed on a chew, which went splat like a fly to a swatter. Ow! He got up, and wiped the slime off his backside before opening the door, and emerged into the second subfloor, which was now like being inside a sauna. The mud was liquid here, and it bubbled. Like a giant mud bath here. Several stone platforms grew from the walls, going up like a slanted staircase on the walls to the door up ahead. As he walked towards the first outcropping, the mud began to bubble, and soon emerging were octopi? No, wait, they looked more like those toads. Toadpolis, yeah, these toads were far from friendly though. They vanished after he blocked the mud balls they spat at him. "Annoying little buggers," he muttered. Even if they were toads, he couldn't harm them at all. So he just blocked their attacks until he managed to get through the door, and into a room filled with lava. The entire floor is one big lava pit. There were only a few portions of solid rock for Naruto to walk along. The metal platform he was on descended to a round platform of stone via graded stairs. Flying around in the air was fire keys, and there were the Toadpolis, only the fire breeds. Then, he spotted something of interest, cats made of purple fire, the size of a cheetah. They spotted him, and jumped off their high ledges, and ran across the lava before jumping at him. Naruto rolled down the stairs as they missed, and quickly stopped himself with the blade before he took a permanent fire bath. The cats roared at him and dashed, ready to claw at him, but Naruto initiated his Reisengyufu technique. The cats whine as the wind chakra slices through, dissipating the fiery cats. Crap! Midna, she appeared. "At least help me, dear." She sweat dropped. "Fine, one of those chests are here, but I don't see them in plain view, maybe they're on a high place in the room." Midna looked around, taking a bit of a flight as Naruto followed after her where he was, taking time to not get hit by those annoying creatures. He jumped into an enclosed metal grate and up the ramp until he walked up next to Midna in front of a locked door. "They have no keys to use. Midna, go look for that chest, please." Naruto turned around just in time to block a fireball that collided with his shield. She flew off, cutting through the fire keys with her reformed boomerang. Naruto saw a lone fire keys dive bombing him. A simple kunai killed it. While Midna was searching for that chest, Naruto did a Kyukyos no Jutsu, summoning Gamakichi. Holy flies on turd, why's it so hot? Naruto blinked. Oh, hey Naruto. What's going on here? Why are you in a volcano? Sorry. I'm kind of inside a temple in Kaminari no Kuni. Say, can you do me this little favor? Naruto asks, taking out a large watermelon-printed gumball. Gamakichi took it. Sure, what? Tell Ero-sennin I'm on a little adventure in the Temple of Lightning, to save a girl who is taken as a hostage. Saving the girl routine. Sure, I'll tell the pervert. Gamakichi did a lazy salute and vanished in a poof of smoke, as Midna returned, key in hand. Found one. She tossed it to him, and he unlocks the door and walks in. The room they were in now was cube-shaped. The floor was again a pool of lava. Only 2 doors, now sealed, had stone ledges. In the center was a wide ring of metal suspended by pillars of stone. I have a bad feeling about this, said Midna, arms around Naruto. Suddenly, something revealed itself from the lava, hissing. Elsewhere, a traveling group of ninjas were greeted by smoke, and Jiraiya had a toad on his head. Yo pervy sage. Naruto won't stop calling me that, but you should as well. What? Gamakichi asks, you are a pervert. Dad told me that Naruto's first words when you last came to see him before disappearing were pervy sage. Some snickers were heard, and only Anko laughed outright. Jiraiya growled, reminded of that day Naruto spoke his first words when he was just 3. What do you want? You're not out here unless... He suddenly stopped, and caused a pile-up for the others behind the Sannin. What happened to Naruto? First off, he's in this weird area with a pool of lava below him, and I thought I saw a flying bat lit up in flames. He said something about a damsel in distress, and rescuing her from the Temple of Lightning. Kakashi sighed. Damn, he's already in Kaminari no Kuni, we have to hurry. We'll travel by toad this time, Jiraiya said, summoning a large enough toad for them all to ride on. Naruto swore as he dodged another barrage of fireballs spat at him by the Zolam. This was the dreaded fire snake of Hien no Kuni, the Zolam. How it ended up here of all things freaked out Naruto when it had popped out of the pool of lava, right in the center of the wide ring platform. Midna took this chance to fly out of the attacks that stray off path. When it opened its mouth, Midna yelled to him, throw an explosive. Naruto took the risk, and lobbed 3 ninoms right into its mouth. The Zolam gagged on it as it slithered down its throat, where it exploded. It coughed up a vat of black smoke and slumped back into the lava, knocked out. It only ticked it off, as now Naruto ran, dodging the lava rocks that came flying up to the air and tried to flatten him. One nearly did, had Midna not fly in, swatting it away, magicking her ponytail. The beast sprung up from the liquid fire below, and hissed again. This time, it spat out 3 fireballs that went in 3 different directions. Naruto shielded against the fireball, but nearly got knocked off the ring arena. When it opened its mouth again, Naruto threw a kunai wrapped with an explosive tag. Boom! It coughed up smoke and vanished back into the lava again. Now, Naruto had to worry about geysers springing up under him. I hate this job, but somebody's gotta do it, Naruto thought, as he dodged some lava rocks from the sudden arrival of the Zolam for the 3rd time. It lunged at him, jaws snapping shut, but missed its target. All of a sudden, the lava exploded, and 2 fire cats leap into the air towards him. Naruto barely avoided collision. He backflipped as the dragon did another forward snap, and only dissipated the fire cats with its lunge. Naruto leapt forward and sliced a gash across the side of its face. It roared with pain, and Naruto threw 3 ninoms, wrapped with an explosive. A bigger bomb emerged, and caused blood to fly from the blown chunk-like hole in its throat. It slumped back into the lava, where the lava easily seeped into the hole, burning away its insides. It may be a fire snake, but its insides were still very vulnerable. Naruto sighed with relief, as he raced to the other door, opened it as the seals on it vanished, and entered the next room, which was now a cold room. A very cold room. It was like suddenly walking out of the desert and into a winter environment. There was the occasional drip of the wet icy stalagmite, but that's due to the room behind him being of volcanic nature. Well, to die by frost or melting burns, which is worse? Naruto thought aloud, but he took a hesitant step, and slipped. He slid down the icy hill, and crashed into a snow bank below. Fuck! Midna emerged and helped Naruto up. Careful Naruto-kun. He nodded, and got a good look around. There are 3 boxes, and 1 switch panel in this room. The field is slick with ice, and he threw a kunai, nailing in ice keys. A puzzle? Yup. Need to find a way to land one of these heavy crates over that panel switch. She spied the door, possibly linked to it, as there was a grated fence panel over the door acting as a lock. And you know this from experience? Most dungeons have a puzzle or 2. Have no clue why, but it was always like that with Link and I. Cut to 15 minutes later. The door with the seal unlocked, and opened, and revealed another puzzle similar to the previous one, but with 2 panels. Oh, and there was a Dead Knight. Midna had immediately told Naruto to get rid of the creature and fast, and he did. He only took a nasty hit when it unleashed its deafening shriek. The only way that it died was its shrieks dislodged the icy stalagmites above, and one particular spear crushed it from above, ironically also giving it the weight over the lock panel. That left the other one to be occupied with one of the crates after another 15 minutes passed. The ice keys was annoying however, but Naruto and Midna survived, and landed themselves into a tropical-looking garden of a room. This one however had thick vines acting as walkways across the bottomless hole below. Leaf wolfos littered the room, 4 for the 2 packs scattered. Naruto looked around. 2 doors. On the map, the door to his north led to a dead end, but to the east, it led to a hallway-like room, and from there, the room where their intended boss of this dungeon would lie. So, Naruto traversed the path going north, and made it to the door, and opened it and jumped in just as it slammed shut. The leaf wolfo that dove for him crashed into the door. Ouch! Now where are we? Something shivered from the ceiling. Naruto and Midna looked up, and saw an organic sphere slowly lower from the nest of tree bushes. It looked like a giant pea hat, attached by organic vines that seemed to be pumping what looked like green water into itself. Of course, they noticed some of those veins growing into the ceiling itself, which around the bushes of miniature trees were giant leaf-like petals. The entire thing shivered, before the bushes shook. Few leaves fell, but other than that, they were surprised to see 3 leaf wolfos summoned forth by this weird creature. The organic wolves growled and charged Naruto, who immediately swung his blade, slicing 2. The third knocked him back, but Midna flew in, swinging her blade boomerang at it. It backed away, as the huge pea hat suddenly swung around like a hammer, knocking Naruto painfully into the nearby wall. The thing then actually laughed at Naruto, shivering as some leaves fell from the few bushes scattered across the large pea hat. Naruto! The large aggressive, mutated pea hat then summoned more leaf wolfos. Naruto got back up, and switched out the master sword for Kubikiri Hocho, and swung a wide arc, slicing through them easily. Naruto decided to go for broke and jumped into the air. He kicked off a Kage Bunshin for greater height, and when the pea hat came at him, the clone is what it struck, while it collapsed to the ground, when he sliced through the veins of the tentacle-clung vines. The giant pea hat exploded, and what hit Naruto in the head was the big key. Naruto grabbed it, as he quickly turned around as more leaf wolfos suddenly grew from the remains of the giant pea hat, and escaped that room. The final room was caved in with soft earth and clay. And according to the map, the final chamber was beyond this, mud-like debris. Naruto decided to test out those mole gauntlets he's received from the Valhalla incident, and slipped the gauntlets on. Midna stayed right behind Naruto, which in reality remained in his shadow, as Naruto began to dig his way through with relative ease. Up to 20 minutes later of burrowing through like a mole, the large door behind Naruto closed upon inserting the big key, and a wave of chakra and kanji washed over its surface, sealing the door. An iron rod fence gate pops up from the ground, and locks in place. A double-sealed door. The room was expansive. The stone was giving off a bit of steam, but in the center of the room was a 40 by 40 ring of marble and metal. The ceiling was high enough for high jumps. However, he saw Yujito laid up against the wall on the other side. Naruto ran across the field, but kept his weapons ready. He knew that if the Zolom and that giant pea hat which guarded the big key was anything to come by, that someone or something was just waiting to make its move. Hey, are you alive? She suddenly looked up, revealing cat-like eyes that flashed a brief purple. A burst of chakra crashed into Naruto, sending him flying back, through the air, and landing with a crash inside the metal and marble ring. A smile formed over the girl's lips, as she stood up. Soon, a rather evil laugh escaped her, as crackling waves of chakra washed over her entire form as she somersaulted forward, and landed inside the ring across from the hero. When the wave of chakra dispersed, Naruto readied his weapons. "I'm going to rip you apart, little boy," Nibi giggled rather evilly, "and then I'll have so much fun with your corpse." Twilight Nekatama, ni no Nibi. A cocky smirk is seen as she moved in erratic patterns across the expansive field of this underground chamber. When she leapt into the air with a spin in her step, she released volleys of purplish-blue fireballs. Naruto ran for it. When the chakra washed over her form, it had revealed what was fused onto her. He saw the glowing red crystals on the globular shoulder pads she wore, attached to upper torso armor with pauldrons connecting them from the front around the front of her breast. Add similar armor matching that of a feline for the legs and forearms, and she was Ni-Yujito under control of the Twilight King, an innocent soul he was determined to save. When she backflipped, he also spied something that looked like some sort of malformed plus-shaped plate on her back, connected by several cables into the shoulders, while in some sort of slot was one of those same crystals used on Gaara. Was it the weak point? She suddenly got onto all fours as chakra lit around her, and she jumped into the air before speeding towards him as a giant flaming fireball. He rolled to his right, narrowly avoiding a collision. She smashed into the wall with explosive contact, but got back to her feet and came at him, firing volleys of smaller fireballs. Naruto this time dodged them with a somersault into the air. He didn't wish to harm Yujito with the Master Sword, so he was forced to use his other weapons. Fujin no Mai, Dance of the Blade. Blades of wind were sent flying, hoping she'd take the distraction. She did. Naruto then followed up using the Reizengufyu technique, only with Kagura used, and releasing blades of wind. The nekified Kunoichi hissed and jumped back from the various hits dancing across her form. Naruto stopped, lowered a bit to a crouch. He immediately stood straight as Nibi charged him with another fireball blitz. Naruto rolled to the side, and swung his fan, releasing a tornado effect that blew out the fire, and caused her to crash land. Nibi screeched, much like a cat would when angered, and turned around, expelling her chakra aura. 3 fiery shockwaves washed across the field, and Naruto jumped over the first 2, then matrix under the 3rd ring. Nibi now danced around the battlefield, releasing volleys of fireballs time and time again, but Naruto kept up with her dance of fire. Zukakin. With her hand held up, she thrusted it, palm half exposed, and expelled a fiery blast of chakra. Naruto barely dodged the fire that came close to burning him in the face. But then, she spun with her hands near the ground, releasing a lotus-like bloom of fire that caused Naruto to immediately jump away. Katon, Taihuden no Jutsu, fire release, large projectile. A large fireball was thrown at Naruto from Nibi Kamehameha style. However, before the fiery projectile would come closer, she smiled evilly, Indo no Tsurugi, Kai, flame sword, release. The Hellcat manipulated the large fireball, and slicing her right arm in front of her, caused the fireball to explode with a wave of energy, which in the initial explosion released a cutting blade of fiery red-orange. Naruto cried as it dug into him, and sent him sprawling across the ground. The shield had a bad cut in it, and the fire burned into him. "It hurts, much, Naruto-kun." Midna cried, but then she is grabbed around the throat, and choked by the hellacious Kunoichi. "Time to die, pretty princess," Nibi said with a sickeningly sweet voice. "And Naru." Naruto snarled, hearing Midna was in trouble. "Screw hurting her." He grabbed the blade and swung, and Nibi jumped back as Midna floated back, coughing up a fit. "Are you okay, Midna-chan?" "I'm fine," she said, but she got a look at his back. The burn was still there. "Naruto-kun. I'll be fine, no harm shall ever befall you, Midna." He turned his eyes to the giggling cat girl, with rage. "I'll save you by kicking your ass." Her fast-signing response, Nijio Waza, Ryo no Hai to Reiko, 2-element technique, dragon of fire and lightning. The fiery aura that surrounded her warped, while crackling energy within her hands expels forth. 2 dragons made of fire and lightning merged together flying towards Naruto. The dragon was made of intense fire, swirling with the electrical comet-like aura of crackling purple lightning. Midna snatched Naruto with her magic hand and flew high. The elemental-fused dragon slammed into the door, causing an explosion and generating a large burn mark in the surface. "Damn!" Naruto dropped to his feet, and held the sword and shield ready. The Nibi hissed at Naruto, and lunged, chakra gathering to form claws. Naruto dodged and released a back slice attack, striking the object on her back. She hissed in pain as the first globe blew up for no reason. He raised an eyebrow, and jumped back as she released several volleys of fire again. This time, he took the initiative and attacked her, forcing her to defend. Midna got back with revenge by striking her with her boomerang weapon, lightly charged with her magic. The hero/princess duo was doing particularly well here. Nibby was on her hands and knees, as she looked up. The last hit struck her in the back again, causing the second globe to blow up into a fiery ball. Her eyes shifted, transforming into the eyes of the Nico sealed inside of her. The armor explodes off her as her bijou chakra emerged all around her. The crystals seemed to remain firmly implanted into her back as now the Nibby stood over Naruto, roaring loudly. And to make things worse, Naruto spied two tails behind the transformed Jinchuriki. "Naruto-kun, that's the demon that killed Link," Midna whispered, shocked. She remembered the demon, the one that killed the man that she was once in love with, and had broken the sword. And if this was the demon that killed his ancestor, I'm boned. The dreaded power of the Nibby could be felt. All of the priests/monks/whatever you wish to call them felt the dreaded darkness. The ninjas from Kyumo, and the Raikage, felt Yujito's demonic power filtering from the temple itself. What is going on? A boy wearing a green tunic carrying a sword and shield arrived with a wandering priestess. He had entered the evil-infested temple and has not returned since. We asked Lady Kururi who he was, but all she told us before taking her leave was that he was a hero of some kind, explained one of the older monks. Raikage jumped a bit hearing the soft whinny of a horse, before it was fed an apple by one of the younger monks. Just then, they heard a loud crash, and the Kyumonins and Raikage saw a giant armored toad, with Konohanins on its head. Naruto was trapped. The Nibby was a fire cat, and the girl had a desire for fire. The battlefield outside the marked ring arena was covered by a sea of purple fire, and Naruto had no desire to get burned to death. Because of this, he had less room to work his feet out, but the Hellcat had no trouble making this battle much tougher. And to top it off, he's going up against one of the dreaded bijou, even if it was under the control of Lansing's twisted magic. The only good thing going for him was that it sacrificed one tail of power to permanently bait the floor with a sea of purple flames, to trap Naruto within the circle. Naruto cursed, as the Nibby fired 3 fireballs again from the fiery sea. Naruto again dodged the attacks. Naruto looked around, frantic to finding some way of attacking that damn cat. Then, he came close and took a swipe at him. Naruto swung the master sword, and sliced a cut into the paw. The cat howled in pain, and jumped back into the fire. Since the purple matched, Nibby effectively vanished. Naruto looked around, searching for any unnatural movement, until he heard the wind shift. His ears nearly twitched as Midna pulled him away one more, as Nibby came from behind with a deadly swipe of her claw. Naruto glared as the Nibby retreated back, only to pop up, releasing that 3-way fireball attack. This time, a crackle of lightning was fused with the element. And again, Naruto dodged the attacks. Naruto kept himself steady, shield up, sword poised to strike. Nibby emerged once more and he swung. The cat hissed and Naruto, before it reeled back, launched the claw shot. Luckily, he managed to get a firm grip on the solid chakra of the Nibby and was reeled up towards the face. Naruto kept a good grip as the cat bucked and grined to get the human off her. However, Naruto swung his Kaituken, and it missed striking the crystal shard in her back. He was thrown off, and Midna caught him before he could fly right into the burning flames. She let go and he landed in the center of the ring, as the Nibby vanished into the fire again. Naruto caught the Kaituken in his shield hand, and Midna quickly zapped the clawshot back into the seal scroll, and he dragged out the master sword. Naruto kept his eyes ahead of him, turning around not wanting to get caught off guard. Darting here and there, he noticed movement, and leapt back as a paw came crashing down in the spot he once occupied. Naruto grinned as he threw the Kaituken. It was one lucky hit. Nibby cried as the crystal was dislodged from her back. But then Naruto got struck in the back by a bolt of plasma, which also agitated his back a lot. Midna gasped. Naruto! Lansing smiled behind his mask as he had suddenly shown up, held his hand over and grasped the cat's skull. You! Lansing! She flung her hair at Lansing, which transformed into several spears of magic, but Lansing sent her flying, crashing on top of Naruto. The bijou roared as in its weakened state, was ripped directly from Yujito, leaving her unconscious on the floor as the Nibby's energies were then absorbed directly into a sealed scroll he had. The purple sea soon began to get drawn in as well, spiraling tornadoes all drawn right into the scroll. When the power had vanished into the scroll, all was silent. Yujito's bijou now belongs to me. Lansing then vanished, after he gazed to Naruto and Midna. Yujito. Naruto got back up, and ran to the girl, collapsing next to her, as he pulled the former Jinchuriki of the Nibi no Nekatama onto his lap. She was breathing, and had minor nicks and cuts across her body. Midna floated over to the crystal that Naruto managed to dislodge from the girl's back with the kaituken. She packed it into her sub-pocket, having struck an idea with it involving Naruto and his possible beast form. She's alive. Yeah, but it was all but a plot. All we did was Lansing's dirty work. He has the cat bijou now. She generated a portal on the ground, as she magicked Naruto's weapons back onto his person, sword and shield strapped, kaituken sealed and packed away. Naruto stood up, picking Yujito up. Midna vanished into his shadow as Naruto stepped onto the portal, and vanished in a swirl of twilight as the temple's magic began to slowly taper and disappear. It was very tense. Many Jounin and some Chunnin from Konoha was there, facing off against the Jounin and Chunnin of Kumo, but none made a move, not while the monks prevented them from doing so. One of the guys was there, to keep the two groups from fighting and causing destruction. Then he looked toward the stairs, and saw the green tunic-wearing young lad walk down, carrying Yujito in his arms bridal style. The Kumo ninja who Naruto and Kururi saved ran up to him. How is she? She isn't dead, is she? No. I didn't have to kill her. I saved her, but at the cost of losing Nibi. The Twilight King ripped the Nibi from her body as he did the Kyubi from mine, he said, looking down at Yujito's face. I'm involved in a conflict that would one day spill completely into the shinobi world. Right now, Lansing has the Kyubi no Kitsune and the Nibi no Nekatama sealed with him, and Yujito and myself, we're the only two former Jinchuriki to have lived. He had reached the front steps, and walked towards the Kage of Kumo. What happened to her? Said the Kage of Kumo. The Nibi's energies were forcibly extracted from her when I had finally destroyed the controlling crystal. However, she is alive, please take care of her. The Kage slowly nodded, as an adult kunoichi who bore Kumo's headband gently took Yujito from Naruto's arms. Naruto-kun, Yujito muttered, and Naruto heard her. Ichem. Impressive, Naruto, a voice spoke. Every ninja brought out their kunai, shuriken, or whatever weapons they were armed with. You saved the girl, but in the end, I have her demon powers. Who's next, hero? Think you can fulfill the shoes of your ancestor and save the world? Ahahaha. The voice of the Twilight King vanished, and Naruto sheathed the sword again, and looked around. Kururi had vanished again. He decided not to ask anyone. She is a wandering priestess after all. One of the priests came up to him, and he gladly accepted Epona back, who whinnied softly. Hopping on, he looked toward the Kage, who bowed to him. Thank you for rescuing Yujito. Naruto replaced his hat, showing off Konoha's headband. No problem, Reikage-sama. I'm a hero, it's what I do. He inserts his earphones for his nin pod, and listens to Hamasaki Ayumi's Kanaria, Power Mix. He snapped the reins, and Epona whinnies before galloping away from the Lightning Temple. Kakashi, Jiraiya, and the others looked at the Kumo ninja, before leaving, giving chase after Naruto, who is still technically in trouble. The Reikage was surprised when Naruto had replaced his green hat with one that held the symbol of Konoha, but then looking at Yujito, decided not to speak of it. He had saved her. It explains the appearance of the Konoha ninja. They were tracking down that boy in the green tunic, the same hero who had saved Yujito, and, though an unknown enemy faction now has the Nibi, saved her from a cursed life. Naruto, he murmured, before turning to his forces, half of you stay behind and help the monks repair any damage of the Lightning Temple. The rest of you, we return to Kumo to get Yujito some bed rest. Hi! And off they went, as Kururi wandered on her own path. She had passed on one of her skills to the hero, and the next time they meet, will teach Naruto another skill. 2 lives have the curse of Jinchuriki lifted, yet, evil still existed out there, waiting for the perfect chance to strike. That's it for part 5. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.